Have you ever felt lost, like life is moving forward, but you're stuck in the same place? That was me once. I thought, what's the point of all this? But then something changed a moment, so defining it still gives me goosebumps. And today, I want to share that moment with you, because by the end of this talk, you'll realize that your life has a meaning so powerful it will change everything you've ever believed about yourself. Have you ever felt lost, like life is moving forward, but you're stuck in the same place? That was me once. I thought, what's the point of all this? I want to take you to a moment in my life that changed everything. It wasn't a grand event or a dramatic revelation. It was a quiet but powerful realization, one that I believe could resonate with you. There I was, surrounded by people who seemed to know exactly where they were going. They had their plans, their dreams, their goals, and me, I felt like I was on a treadmill moving but going nowhere. On the outside, I smiled. On the inside, I was drowning in questions. Why am I here? What am I supposed to do with my life? Does any of this even matter? And then one day I met someone who asked me a question that flipped my world upside down. They didn't ask about my career, my achievements, or my struggles. They looked me in the eyes and asked, what's your purpose? I froze. Purpose? I didn't even know where to begin. I was so caught up in surviving the day-to-day that I hadn't stopped to think about why I was doing it in the first place. That question stayed with me. It followed me home, echoed in my thoughts, and wouldn't let me rest. At first, it was frustrating. I wanted to brush it off, tell myself that I didn't need a purpose, that life was fine as it was. But deep down, I knew I was lying to myself. I wasn't fine. I was existing, not living. So I started searching. I read books, listened to people I admired, and tried to find answers in all the usual places. But none of that worked. The breakthrough didn't come from a book or a seminar. It came from within. I remember sitting alone in complete silence when a simple but life-changing thought hit me. My purpose wasn't something out there waiting to be discovered. It was something inside me waiting to be uncovered. You see, purpose isn't a job title, a bank balance, or even a goal. It's the reason behind everything you do. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning and keeps you going when life gets hard. It's not about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's about understanding what makes your heart beat faster, what fills you with passion, and what leaves a legacy long after you're gone. And here's the best part. Discovering your purpose doesn't require you to be extraordinary. You don't need to be the smartest, richest, or strongest person in the room. All it takes is a willingness to ask yourself the hard questions and listen to the answers that come. That moment, that question didn't just change my life, it gave me life. And if you stick with me for the rest of this talk, I promise to help you take your first steps toward discovering your own purpose. Because when you find it, it's like unlocking a door you didn't even know was there. Behind it is a life of meaning, fulfillment, and impact. And trust me, the world is waiting for the gift only you can give. No matter where you come from or what you've been through, there's a reason you're here. Let that thought settle for a moment. It's easy to look at others and think they're the ones with purpose, the visionaries, the leaders, the dreamers. But here's what I want you to understand. Purpose isn't reserved for a select few. It's woven into the very fabric of every single person's life, including yours. When you hear the word purpose, it might feel heavy, like it's this huge, unreachable concept meant for people who have everything figured out. Maybe you think you're too old to find it, or too young to understand it. Perhaps your past feels too messy, too broken, for you to believe that something so meaningful could be tied to your life. But let me tell you this, your purpose is not defined by your past. It's not defined by where you grew up, how much money you have, or the mistakes you've made. Your purpose is something deeper, something uniquely yours, and it's waiting for you to claim it. Imagine for a moment that your life is a story. Every story has highs and lows, triumphs and challenges. Some chapters are joyful and others are painful, but just like a great story wouldn't be complete without the twists and turns, your purpose wouldn't be complete without everything you've been through. It's the sum of all those experiences, the good and the bad, that shape who you are and prepare you for the reason you were created. The beauty of purpose is that it's universal yet personal. Every single person in this room has a purpose that's just as important as anyone else's. It's not about comparison or competition. Your purpose doesn't have to look like anyone else's to be valid. The teacher shaping young minds, the nurse saving lives, the artist creating beauty, the parent raising the next generation, they all have a purpose. And so do you. Sometimes life has a way of making us doubt that. Maybe you faced rejection or failure that made you question your worth. Maybe someone told you that you wouldn't amount to anything, and over time you started believing it. But let me tell you something powerful. No one else gets to define your purpose. No one else can tell you why you were put on this earth. That's between you and the creator of life itself. Your existence is not an accident. Think about it. Out of the billions of people on this planet, no one else has your exact combination of talents, experiences, and perspective. That means there's something only you can do, a difference only you can make. And that's not a burden, it's a gift. So if you've ever doubted your value or wondered if your life has meaning, let me remind you, you are here for a reason. You matter and your purpose is real. The journey to discover it might not be easy, but it's worth every step. Because when you find your purpose, you don't just change your own life, you change the lives of everyone around you. You show the world what's possible when someone chooses to live with intention and meaning. And that's why you're here today, not just to listen to a talk, but to start believing in the truth that your life has purpose right here, right now. Your tough battles are not barriers, they're the bridges to discovering why you were born. That might sound surprising, especially if you're in the middle of one of those battles right now. When life feels overwhelming, when you're hit with pain or failure, it's easy to think you're being held back, trapped, or punished. But what if those very struggles were meant to shape you, refine you, and prepare you for something far greater? Let me ask you this. How do you handle the storms in your life? When everything feels like it's falling apart, do you wonder if you'll ever make it through? I know that feeling, and I also know how tempting it is to give up when the weight becomes too much. But let me share something with you, a truth that changed my perspective forever. Every struggle carries within it the seeds of purpose. The challenges you face today could be the very things that lead you to your reason for being. Think about some of the most inspiring people you know. Maybe it's someone in your personal life, or maybe it's a public figure whose story resonates with you. Chances are their journey wasn't easy. Chances are they faced setbacks that would have made most people quit. But what sets them apart is that they didn't let those setbacks define them. Instead, they used them as fuel to push forward, to grow stronger, and to uncover the deeper meaning in their lives. The same is true for you. Every time you face disappointment, loss, or failure, you've been given a choice. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. I know that's easier said than done, especially when you're in the thick of it. But if you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, you might start to see a pattern. The times when you thought you couldn't go on, but somehow did. The moments when you were forced to dig deep and discover strengths you didn't even know you had. Those moments are not coincidences. They are shaping you, molding you, and preparing you for your purpose. Let me tell you something extraordinary. The things you think disqualify you, the failures, the hurts, the imperfections, are often the very things that qualify you to make a difference. They give you a unique perspective, a depth of understanding that no one else can offer. They equip you to help others in ways you never thought possible. Your pain is not wasted. Your struggles are not meaningless. In fact, they might be the most valuable parts of your story. Why? Because when you overcome something, you become a living example of hope for others. You show them that it's possible to rise, to heal, to grow. And in doing so, you not only fulfill your purpose, you inspire others to find theirs. So the next time you face a challenge, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, what is this teaching me? How can this shape my purpose? You might not see it immediately, but over time you'll begin to understand that every battle has brought you closer to the person you were meant to be. And that person is ready to change the world. Purpose isn't found in a flash of light. It's uncovered step by step. I can almost hear some of you saying, that sounds great, but how do I even start? And that's a valid question. Because if you've been living without a clear sense of purpose, it might feel like you're standing at the base of a mountain, looking up at a peak that seems too high to reach. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the idea of finding your purpose, especially if you don't know where to begin. But the truth is, the journey doesn't start with an epic revelation. It starts with small, deliberate actions that over time add up to something much bigger than you could ever imagine. The first step in discovering your purpose is simply being willing to ask yourself the hard questions. What do you care about? What makes you feel alive? What gives you energy and what drains you? Too often we live in a world that tells us to focus on what we should do rather than what we truly want to do. We get caught up in the expectations of others, the pressures of society, and the fear of not measuring up. But discovering your purpose requires you to step away from the noise and focus inward. You see, purpose doesn't come from doing what everyone else is doing or following a predetermined path. It comes from getting to know yourself, your strengths, your passions, and even your fears. It's about listening to the quiet whispers of your heart and being open to the possibility that what excites you might not make sense to anyone else. Start by looking at the things that bring you joy. What activities or experiences make you lose track of time? Maybe it's helping others, creating something, solving problems, or making people laugh. These aren't coincidences, these are clues. Your purpose is hidden in the things that light you up. But here's the key. You don't have to have everything figured out to take the first step. Purpose isn't a destination, it's a process. The more you engage in what makes you feel fulfilled, the more the pieces will begin to fit together. Don't wait for a perfect moment to start. Perfection doesn't exist, and neither does a perfect plan. Some of the most successful and purpose-driven people in the world didn't have a clear roadmap at the beginning. They took risks, tried new things, failed, learned, and grew. They took action even when they didn't have all the answers. Think of purpose like a compass. It doesn't give you the full map, but it points you in the right direction. You might not know exactly where the road leads, but with every step, you're moving closer to a life that feels meaningful. You'll face doubts along the way. There will be moments when you question if you're on the right path, and that's okay. The key is to keep moving. Purpose isn't something you find once and for all. It's something you discover, redefine, and grow into with each passing day. So I encourage you to take that first step. It might be something small, something simple, but it will be yours. And with each step you take, you'll uncover more of the person you were meant to be and the purpose you were meant to fulfill. Imagine waking up every morning knowing exactly why you're alive. That's what purpose feels like. For so many of us, the days can feel like a blur of routine with little to distinguish one from the other. We go through the motions, ticking off tasks, checking off to-do lists, and surviving the day. But when you discover your purpose, something shifts. Your every action is infused with meaning, and suddenly life feels not just like something you do, but something you're actively shaping. The power of purpose isn't just in the big moments, it's in the quiet realization that your life is a story with meaning behind each chapter. It's about waking up every day with a reason that pulls you forward, even on the hard days. When you're connected to your purpose, your life has direction and significance, no matter what else is happening around you. Purpose allows you to wake up each day not wondering what's next, but knowing that each step you take brings you closer to fulfilling the reason you were put on this earth. Purpose doesn't just give you motivation, it fuels your resilience. It's easy to feel like giving up when life gets tough. When the challenges stack up and the road ahead feels uncertain, it's natural to wonder if it's even worth it. But when you know your purpose, you hold on to something bigger than just the momentary struggles. You realize that every setback is part of the process, a stepping stone that's taking you closer to where you need to be. Purpose reminds you that the hard days aren't the end, they're the lessons that will shape you into the person you need to become. But discovering your purpose isn't a one-time event. It's a journey that continues to unfold as you evolve and grow. As you face new challenges, meet new people, and discover new passions, your purpose will become clearer. It will deepen and expand, shifting and evolving as you do. That's why it's so important to stay open and curious, to keep asking yourself, what moves me? What gives me energy? What am I meant to contribute? These questions might not lead to immediate answers, but they will guide you on the path to uncovering your deepest purpose. Purpose also helps you see your place in the world. It connects you to something greater than yourself, something that ties you to others and to the world around you. When you discover your purpose, you realize that it's not just about you, it's about how you impact the lives of others. It's about what you give, not just what you get. This realization creates a deep sense of fulfillment, because when you serve a purpose that benefits others, you are constantly reminded that your life matters. Purpose isn't always obvious, and it's not always easy. It's a process of trial and error, of discovering what resonates with you, of stepping outside your comfort zone to take risks and explore. But when you find it, it's like everything clicks into place. You stop just existing and start truly living, and that is where the magic happens. The world needs your unique contribution, your perspective, and your passion. The only way you can give that is by discovering your purpose and living it every day. So take that step, listen to the whispers inside, and know that you are on the path to something incredible. The world needs your purpose. Let today be the day you take your first step toward it. This isn't just a call to action, it's a call to commitment. Far too often we wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan before we commit to pursuing our purpose. But the truth is, the only perfect moment is the one you have right now. Waiting for everything to fall into place before you begin will only keep you stuck in the same place. The real change comes when you decide to step forward, even when things aren't fully figured out, even when you feel uncertain. Committing to your purpose isn't about waiting for the world to tell you it's the right time. It's about trusting yourself in your journey. It's about acknowledging that you don't have to have all the answers right away. Purpose isn't something you perfect once and for all. It's something you commit to living out every single day. It's the act of showing up, of taking small but consistent steps that align with who you are and what you believe in. And when you commit, everything changes. You stop asking what's the point and start asking how can it contribute. You move from questioning your worth to understanding that your existence is a gift to this world. There's something you are meant to do, something only you can do, and when you commit to finding it, you begin to see doors open that you never imagined were there. When you take that first step toward your purpose, it's like stepping into a new chapter of your life. You will find that the things that once felt difficult or impossible are now within your reach. And no, it won't always be easy. The path will have its challenges, moments of doubt, and times when you'll question if it's all worth it. But when you've committed to your purpose, you're fueled by something far more powerful than the obstacles in front of you. You're driven by a force that transcends fear, doubt, and failure. This is where the magic happens. The world isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to show up. And the moment you decide to give yourself permission to pursue your purpose, you will inspire others to do the same. Purpose has a ripple effect. When you choose to live with intention, when you choose to give everything you have to what matters most, others around you will feel that energy. They'll see your commitment and be encouraged to take their own steps toward their purpose. You don't need to know exactly where your path will lead. The world doesn't need you to have everything figured out, but it does need you to take action, to show up, and to commit to living a life that's true to who you are. So let today be the day. Commit to your purpose. Even if it's just one small step forward, it's a step towards something greater than yourself. It's a step toward a life of meaning, fulfillment, and impact. You are the only one who can live your purpose. And the world is waiting for the unique contribution that only you can give.